Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Forex, Alison and Chris. This week we're talking about the Euro USD and what drives the price. We thought it was a pretty good one to cover, especially in light of interest rates and inflation on both sides of the Atlantic at the moment and why it's driving stuff. As always, like and subscribe and share this. And you can get in touch with us at podcast@fxscouts.com. Thanks. Hey, Alison.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. I'm excited. It's Easter this weekend.
Yeah.
Nice long weekend.
Yeah, it's very sunny here in Portugal. Looking forward to it. Going to hit the beach.
Oh, fantastic. And today we are going to be discussing the Euro USD and the fundamentals and technicals that affect the Euro USD. It's obviously a very popular topic because they are the most traded currencies in the world in their respective economic zones in the US and the nations in the European Union. And they form a currency pair known as the Euro USD, and it is also known as the fiber. And it makes up 23% of all Forex trading in the world. And if you consider that the Forex market is traded at 5.3 trillion USD a day, it means that 1.2 trillion USD is traded on the Euro USD. So, quite interesting stats.
Yeah, no, huge. It's massive currency pair and one of the just full stop one of the largest markets in the world. And it's not a surprise that the Euro USD is so highly traded because it's the world's first and second highest valued currencies, the USD and the euro, and it's one of the most liquid markets in the world. There's huge volume. And this is great for traders because it means you can get in and out of your trading positions really easily. It's also one of the few currency pairs that's 24 hours, runs 24 hours. So no matter what time of day or night you want to trade, there's going to be volume traded on it, which is great for beginners, especially those who have day jobs who can only trade in the evenings. It's often the pair that most beginners start trading with because of these reasons. But it's also a really popular choice for more experienced traders who are looking to develop trading strategies because they know that it's the volume trade and the liquidity around it means that they're going to get a good idea of how these trading strategies will operate.
And I think also because they understand the various factors that impact the Euro USD. So they understand then the political factors and the environmental issues like natural disasters and even how pandemics like the coronavirus can shake
Coronavirus.
the markets.
Yep.
Yeah. So because of that, it's easy to find information on the Euro USD. But probably the two most important factors that affect the Euro USD are the strength of the underlying economics and then the monetary policy. And these are obviously implemented by the central banks. So the Fed or the Federal Reserve in the US and the European Central Bank or ECB in the EU.
Yeah, and monetary policy is formulated as a result of the underlying economic strength of a country, or the weakness. So these factors, monetary policy and economic strength, are very tightly linked. Another important factor that affects Euro USD is speculation, so market expectation. So the markets will have an idea of what they think monetary policy should be based on economic strength, and they will set expectations. And this also has a major impact on the strength of the euro versus USD or vice versa. As part of this, it's really important to note that the interest rate differential is a major influence on what happens with this currency pair. So traders will keep an eye on bond yields in the United States versus bond yields in the EU. And when the bond yield is higher in one market versus the other, then you'll see that trading capital will tend to flow towards the jurisdiction with the higher interest rate. And this is what we're seeing right now with the Euro USD. The story of the last few months has been inflation, and monetary policy in the Eurozone and monetary policy in the United States trying to rein in this inflation. And so far, for most of the time, the Federal Reserve in the United States and the ECB in Europe have been in lockstep. They've been raising interest rates, trying to pull inflation back. But we've recently seen a divergence. This banking crisis in the United States with the collapse of the SVB bank spooked the markets, spooked the Fed, and it looks like they've been signaling that they're going to pull back on raising interest rates, Whereas the ECB has made it very clear that they're going to keep on going with very aggressive interest rate raises just to rein in this stubborn inflation that
Mm.
seems to persist in the Eurozone. And so we're beginning to see this divergence now. And as a result, we've seen a real bull market for the euro over the last week or so. And so this is, in real time, if you go and look at the markets now in the Euro USD, you can see this effect that we're talking about and see it play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of events like this, just the fact that it's so liquid, there are many advantages to trading the Euro USD. The Euro USD is both widely available, traded around the clock, but it's also a very liquid pair. And then also the information available. It's very easy to find information on the Euro USD that will inform your trading decisions.
Yeah, and there's also long-term trends you can see with the Euro USD, which is great for position traders. And you can, there's often multi-year trends or multi-month trends. And this is fantastic for people who've got less time on their hands. And these trends are relatively easy to spot, and they're relatively easy to follow. And because of all these advantages, there's more than one way to trade the Euro USD. It doesn't matter what kind of trader you are. You can be a scalper, you can be a day trader, you can be a swing trader, you can even be, as I said, a position trader. You're going to be able to trade the Euro USD. So, it's a really broad church. No matter what kind of trader you are, whether you're just starting out, if you don't know what kind of trader you want to be, you can mess around with the Euro USD. You can have a look and use and test out different styles, and see what you're comfortable with. So it's a fantastic place, I find, for both beginners to start and also for beginners to figure out what kind of trading style they want.
Even though it is one of the most liquid pairs in the world, there are some nuances that you need to be aware of. So the first thing we always suggest is watch the Fed. You'll need to pay special attention to the Federal Reserve and announcements it makes, like speeches made by its members, obviously because they set the monetary policy for the United States. And then you'll also want to watch the ECB for the same reasons as the Fed, because they also set the monetary policy for the European Union. And then other European and US financial publications that influence the price of the Euro USD that you could consider before trading include interest rates, again, as you were speaking about earlier, then unemployment rates, the trade balance, the non farm payrolls, which is something we spoke about last week, inflation rates, GDP growth rates, retail sales, durable goods orders and industrial orders, business sentiment, and obviously consumer confidence.
And all those factors are they're always gonna have a knock on. They don't always have a knock on, but they're likely to have a knock on effect on the Euro USD. It depends what the market is focusing on at the time. And right now, as I was saying earlier, the market is very focused on interest rates and inflation, and that's really what they're looking at.
Yeah.
NFP numbers are big as well, and this is true. And the thing about the NFP is that it's not just going to be the Euro USD; it's going to be most of the major currency pairs. Any currency pair that the USD is a part of is going to be really affected by any interest rate decision in the United States and the non-farm payroll data. So those are the really big ones to look out for. And yeah, they're like a stone being dropped in a pool. You'll have echoes spread out through the entire Forex market. And one thing, as mentioned briefly before, but I really want to highlight here is expectations. Market expectations are so important for the Euro USD. As we've seen recently, the market's going to expect, a 0.25, interest rate rise in the United States. And if it comes in at 0.5% for whatever reason, that's really going to shake the market. You're going
Yeah.
to see huge changes in the price of the Euro USD. So whenever market expectations are not met, that's when you see these massive changes. When market expectations are met by these financial decisions, these monetary policy decisions, or the data that we see, then you see a relatively stable currency pair.
Mm.
But when that doesn't happen, then things can get interesting. So there is volatility in the Euro USD, but
Mm.
it's mainly linked to these fundamental events. But so far, expectations have been fairly on the money this year.
Well, except for the NFP at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's true. The NFP came in. Yeah, that's true. In January, the
Mm.
NFP in January, that was quite a shock to the system.
Yeah.
So yeah, this market expectation is a really major factor here. And so fundamental analysts, they're going to look at these factors that you just mentioned that you went through, and they try to assess the direction of the Euro USD. They're going to try and figure out which direction the price is going to move in, and the general impact that it's going to have on the currency pair.
And then they'll also take, obviously, technicals into consideration. This will mainly less so be the positional traders and more the intraday and scalpers that will need to rely on technical analysis, because it obviously involves reviewing trends, patterns, support and resistance levels, using indicators like MACD and Kelton's channels, and tools like trend lines and Fibonacci retracements. And many traders base their trading decisions on these indicators. And they also look for probable rebound or breakout points. So, for example, a breakout over the Keltner channel could confirm a possible long Euro USD setting. And traders can use indicators to determine a pullback within the trend or the reversal point within a range. So they are very, very useful. And some of the indicators which we refer to and use ourselves are the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index, the ATR, or Average True Range, Keltner's channels, as I mentioned just now, pivot points, and then MACD. We were thinking about going into a full technical analysis of the Euro USD, or showing you how to do that, but it'll just make this podcast very long. So we'll pop some sources into the show
Yeah.
notes, and then you can find a bit more detail on technical analysis and how to perform it specifically on the Euro USD.
Yeah, I think that's a much better idea. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
could be here for probably up to an hour, maybe longer, just talking about technical analysis. But so we'll pop that in the show notes, and just run over what we've been through here. I mean, the Euro USD is the most important currency pair, and it's the most traded currency pair in the world. If you're going to trade it, you need to keep an eye on central bank announcements, economic data, geopolitical news as well that can affect it. Fundamental analysis is very important. Technical analysis, as you say, if you're a day trader or a scalper, this is incredibly important, like with all markets. And always conduct your own research, and it's very popular. So there's a lot of research that you can do out there. There's a lot of market news, technical analysis, daily analysis, fundamental analysis. So it's a great place for beginners to start. But always keep your use risk management. Keep a stop loss, and remember to keep your emotions in check when you're trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and choose a good broker and use a demo account, I think, are two other important points.
That's very important. Yeah, it's true as well.
I think that about covers it, Chris. Nice chatting to you.
That does
And
about cover it.
yeah, and we'll chat again next week.
Yeah, sounds good, Alison. Bye.
Cheers.